James Gunn and the DCU is something I am extremely excited for because James Gunn, I love the guy. He's a fantastic director. I mean, what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy was amazing. And so that gets me really excited to see him now. Now he has the ability to not only just create one franchise like he did with Guardians or with the Suicide Squad, but he is creating an entire universe. And we know this guy is very comic book oriented. He grew up reading these comic books and he loves these obscure characters. We know we're getting that obscurity as well. And one of the biggest things he focuses on in his movies, as you can see from Guardians, all those movies, and also the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, is that he focuses on character. Not only comedy, but also the emotional side of things. That's the thing I love about James Gunn the most, is his perfect balance between comedy and emotion. It is balanced so well. And to see that we're getting a whole universe with that mindset is really exciting. And now, with that excitement, obviously, we got the big whole slate reveal in January, and that's awesome. I mean, we got all these great movies and TV series that have been announced. I'm really excited for Superman Legacy and Booster Gold and Lanterns. There's some exciting stuff coming, but since he took over and since he announced the DCU, of course, alongside Peter Safran, who's also the co-CEO of DC Studios, but we never talk about him, he did mention that it'll be kind of like a soft reboot. Some actors will return and some will not. And that's been one of the not really minor details, actually major details, that has been quite confusing about the whole idea of the DCU. That's one of the things that people are asking so many questions about, is like, what's canon and what's not canon? Because we're recasting the big characters, like Henry Cavill's Superman is out, Ben Affleck's Batman is out, but Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman may be staying. We may be still having Jason Momoa's Aquaman. Ezra Miller's out, that's for sure. And then we're getting new castings, like David Corenswet as Superman. And we have now a bit of clarification from James Gunn, which is great, because this is the clearest, the most cut and dry he's ever been about these questions, and it answers a lot of them. So he said, and I quote, "Nothing is canon until Creature Commandos." He then explained the DCU will have a deeper dive into the universe with Superman Legacy. It goes on after that, but that's the important right there. Honestly, whoever thought we would hear the quote of "nothing is canon until Creature Commandos"? I still can't believe that's going to be the first project of the DCU, but I mean, I know nothing about those characters, but I'm really excited for it because it seems like a really interesting, again, unique, obscure idea, but I like it. I'm looking forward to it. And this is interesting. Nothing is canon until Creature Commandos. So even some of these characters that are coming in from the DCEU, at least it's sounding like they won't be the same characters. It'll just be the same actors, probably wearing the same costumes and everything, but they're not going to directly acknowledge anything that happened in those movies or any of those projects in that universe, which, again, that's just really interesting. But another thing I really love that James Gunn talked about, I don't have a screenshot of this quote, so I'm just paraphrasing here, but he did talk about how his mindset when it comes to building this universe and when it comes to all cinematic universes is that everything needs to stand alone on its own. Everything nowadays is so connected. And obviously, that's important for a cinematic universe. You want to build up to something, but you can't have things be there just because they're connected. That's what happened. That's why we got what we got with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. But no, give us a good, solid movie that stands on its own. And yes, it can connect to other stuff, but you want that one project to be good on its own. And that's kind of been one of the problems with superhero movie culture in recent years, really in the past decade, is just that we're so obsessed with the connections between these projects that I've noticed a lot of the time, like, it's less about even watching the movies themselves. We don't even care about the movies themselves, like, whether they're good or not. It's more about, what do they set up? Oh, what's the post-credit scene? Oh, what are the cameos? Like, there's more to it than that. And with this here, nothing is canon until Creature Commandos. That's the most cut and dry confirmation and statement that we've had from James Gunn, which is really exciting because, again, we are getting new castings like David Corenswet as Superman, and we're getting Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, which is really exciting as well, but we're also getting some characters that will return, and, obviously that's been a question, which characters will return, which won't. James Gunn confirmed the other day on Twitter, or should I say X, he confirmed 3 actors that will be reprising their roles. Starting off with, of course, Viola Davis. Of course. I mean, literally, we have an Amanda Waller HBO Max series that is coming out. So she's going to be starring in that. This makes complete and total sense and just lines up with everything else we've heard and seen from James Gunn. So that makes sense. We also have John Cena as Peacemaker. Again, another one that is pretty obvious. We know a Peacemaker season 2 is coming. But again, this is one I'm really intrigued by. I mean, I love it because I love John Cena as Peacemaker and I'm really excited to see more of that character in the future. But my question is, how is this going to work? Because again, we are supposed to get a Peacemaker season 2, but if nothing prior to Creature Commandos is canon, that means Peacemaker season 1 would not be canon, especially because we have Justice League cameos in there with Ezra Miller and Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and Jason Momoa may be in the universe, this new DCU, but sounds like not as Aquaman, instead as Lobo. So would that not be canon? Would they kind of do what they're doing with Daredevil and reboot the show and just give it a new title? That could be interesting. But again, remains to be seen. And then we also have, of course, Xolomer Dueña as Blue Beetle, which is really, I'm so happy about this one because man, perfect casting right here. He was the best part of the Blue Beetle movie, and Blue Beetle was a great film. Unfortunately, not many people went out and actually watched it, but it was a great movie, and this casting was one of the best parts of it. And again, it seems like maybe that movie won't be canon, I guess. But I'm just really looking forward to seeing more of this character in the future. And so those are the 3 that James Gunn talked about in that specific tweet or post on X. But a couple days later, he did confirm that also Freddie Stroma will be reprising his role as Vigilante as well, which is also just getting me really hyped up as well because probably one of the biggest surprises of Peacemaker was his character. I didn't know anything about him. I wasn't looking forward to him. But man, I love his character. One of my favorite parts of that show. So I'm so excited to see more of him in the DCU. That's going to be really exciting, especially because, crossover potential now too. Imagine seeing Vigilante with some of these other characters. That's going to be really, really awesome. So, anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about James Gunn's comments on the DCU? That the DCEU, nothing there is canon. Some characters will reprise their roles, and we have our, confirmed characters right here, but it'll be different. Canon will not begin until Creature Commandos, which we'll be releasing next year on Max. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the DC life.